Hi team, and welcome to our new podcast, Improving Scottish Football with Forward Play Futsal. This podcast is sponsored by 41 Safety Solutions. They're a health, safety and training business based in Ayrshire and cover Scotland wide. If you need any support with any health and safety support in construction, demolition or rail, or any training such as first aid, fire safety, manual handling and COSH, then let the guys at 41 Safety Solutions know and they will sort you out. Their email address is info@41safetysolutions.co.uk. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast. Now let's get into what we're trying to talk about and what we're trying to achieve with this. This is the first podcast of hopefully a long-lasting pod, and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to improve Scottish football. Nice and simple message. When you scratch below the surface, then you'll understand the challenges that we face. So myself, I played football all through my youth. Joined the military, played football in the military for 11 years. Came out of the military and couldn't play football due to injury. Got myself back through kind of physio, rehab, and medication, and I then played amateur football where I ended my career. That's when I started coaching the amateur game. And also in my son's football team, I quickly became a parent, coach, and now one of the lead coaches in at my son's team as well. And also we have Forward Play Futsal, which runs every Friday night in Kilmarnock, and that is for kids between 2015 to 2017. That's the age group we're focusing on at the minute. So what is the aim of this podcast then and this series? It's pretty simple. What we're trying to do is we're trying to invite coaches, clubs, counsellors, private coaches, scouts, data analysis, anybody who's involved in football in Scotland. We are wanting to hear from you. What challenges do you face in producing the elite level players in Scotland? I believe that as a nation we have the players, we have the mentality, we have the buy-in from the parents, but it's somewhere along the lines the wheels fall off the truck and the players don't reach the very top level. If Belgium can do it, Holland can do it, Denmark can do it, Norway can do it, Croatia can do it, then why can't we do it here in Scotland? And for myself, it comes down to a number of factors. It comes down to simple things such as facilities. In Ayrshire, where we're based, it's a scramble. Amateur football, it's a scramble every single week for about 20 teams trying to secure 4 or 5 pitches on all-weather pitches. Off the back of that, we're then relying on teams travelling further away to play, or we're relying on the grass pitches being maintained by the councils to a state where they can be played on the weekend. And let's be serious here, that doesn't happen in the winter months. The pitches are unplayable. So what happens at the amateur level is you get a big backlog throughout the winter, and then you get a lot of midweek games which are getting rushed through in the summer. From the kids' perspective, it's pretty much the same. You're fighting for pitches on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, you'll get half a pitch, and then it's the same with the training. If you don't take your booking early with the councils, then your pitch becomes unavailable in the winter months. So you're getting forced into taking these pitches earlier than you should need to, and you're staying on the pitches longer than required. But you must do that to facilitate the kids getting game time during the winter months. And that's really where we're at with the challenges that we're kind of facing. A lot of it is on facilities. Yes, we need better coach education. I think there should be a greater tie-in with the pro youth teams into the coaching staff of the kids. I think the professional clubs should have a regional coach where they do seminars, webinars, open sessions once a quarter and coach the coaches. A lot of coaches are actually parent coaches. They'll self-fund their own courses, like myself have. I've done my 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. I've done my UEFA C license. I'm waiting on the results of that, and I've costed every single thing for that myself, along with doing some introductory courses to futsal, positive attitudes and challenging behaviours in Scottish football, kids' well-being in Scottish football. There is so many courses that I have done which I've self-funded. And that is another reason why we are not struggling to produce the players, but that's another reason maybe we're not aligned whole as a coaches throughout Scotland as we should be. We're on different journeys. Some coaches are helping because their kids are playing. Some coaches are helping and getting involved because they want a future in Scottish football. They want a future in coaching. And some people end up overnight becoming a player, becoming a parent coach when they may have just wanted to help once or twice. So what do we do as a nation to help our grassroots coaches? For me, that's the starter. Why aren't we getting closer networks with our pro youth teams, our professional teams? There's so many coaches on there that if we could get once a quarter in your area, some coach who can let us know and let the other teams, let all the teams know this is what grassroots teams are looking for. It's technical performance. They're looking for these attributes. These are some of the sessions we do. Imagine if, say, in Ayrshire, imagine if Kilmarnock and Ayr United maybe extend up to Motherwell, Partick Thistle, St Mirren and the likes of that. Imagine if those coaches were coaching the coaches at a grassroots level and everybody was following the same pathway. That doesn't happen in Scottish football. Some coaches will get the kids running laps. Some will get them running up and down the beaches. Some of them will, like myself, technical touches, aim for 1,000 touches of the ball per session. There is so much variation in how we see the grassroots game as coaches, and we don't have any support from the professional setup. So that's a challenge which we need to try and bridge. And we will always, well, myself, will always look to improve my kind of footballing knowledge. The winter months is a challenge for 100%. In the summer months, I actually think we're very good at the grassroots level, certainly our club, and getting the kids into tournaments and the likes of that and days out. The club that I'm working with at the minute, we've played over 100 games this year in tournament football, which is phenomenal. That is so much more football than most other kids are getting, and it takes you above your 22 league games that you'll get. But over 100 games additionally played this year at tournament level. Let's have a wee quick chat for a couple of minutes on the differences between the pro youth teams and the grassroots teams. Okay, and I'll keep it nice and simple. So basic maths here. If a pro youth team is training 3 times per week and playing once, and the kids are still playing with a grassroots team twice a week and playing once, that's 7 days per week. If the grassroots boys are training twice a week and playing once, then that's 3 days. So they are, excuse me, a pro youth team child is over 50% more game time, more touches of the ball than someone at a grassroots. And so if somebody's getting more than double the amount of football than somebody else, it's weighted in their favour that they'll become a better player. Now, do all players who start in at the pro youth setup, are they always going to be better than some of the kids that's in the grassroots setup? Absolutely not. I've seen it myself. My own son has been in at the pro youth setup for a kind of 6-month period, and then he was let go. However, he still shows some brilliant attributes. We've got some right good players in our wee team who would fit in with, I would say, 90% of the teams and the players which we see get into the pro youth setup. So I don't think it's a closed shop, and I do think that there's generally still opportunities for boys to get into the kind of pro youth setup and the elite football all the way through till they're 15, 16. However, if I'm going to the gym twice a week and somebody else goes 4 times a week, they're going to be fitter than me over a duration. So that's where the gap widens between grassroots and pro youth. And what we need to do is we need to close that gap, and we need to match them in terms of the game time, in terms of the touch time with the ball, and we also need to try and better them in terms of producing the better players. And here's the reasons why. It is very difficult for a grassroots kid to get picked up if a pro youth team thinks that somebody is already on par or better than that child, which I don't understand personally, because if someone's in at pro youth and they've been there for 2 years, and you see somebody at grassroots who's equally as good as them, then they should not be measured of how good is that player at the minute. They should be measured on how good can that player be coached. So as a grassroots player, if they're shown the attributes to be equally as good or if not better than someone at pro youth, imagine what they could do in an additional 50% uplift in their training and their touch time, playing with better players, getting more game time, getting better coaching, seeing better facilities, playing against better players, I firmly believe that those players could go on to become better players than the boys that are already there. Now that's my wee personal gripe in terms of opportunities. However, what we're doing and what I've started with forward play is every Friday night we get futsal done. It's indoors. It will not be cancelled due to poor weather unless there's a power cut. We cap it at 20 kids, and we have 2015s to 2017s. Most of our kids are 2016, and we're averaging 19 children per week. That's an hour and a half. Each kid, when they come to a futsal session, they all get an individual ball. We start with ball mastery, and we start with technical ability. We do drills, we do shooting, we do movement, and then we go into the Lightning League, which is 5-minute games, 4-minute games of futsal. Quick fire. It's high intensity, it's high paced, it's energetic. The kids are really enjoying it, and they're actually developing more technically. And I am on the mission to get futsal on the agenda. Why do we not do futsal from November to February? Indoor football. Why are we not doing that as a nation? I mean, it's such an obvious thing for myself. I just can't believe that Scottish football is not fully embracing futsal yet. It's not indoor football. It's futsal. It's a smaller ball with a second skin inside, so it doesn't bounce as much. The kids are forced to keep the ball on the ground. They're forced to play forward. If the keeper passes the ball, it can't go back to the keeper until it crosses the halfway line. So we're getting rid of negative passing. It's creating more 60% more 1v1s, 30% improvement in passing accuracy. Also, there's 4 times faster decision making in futsal. You got a 4-second rule when the ball goes out of play. And if it works for players like Ronaldinho, the original R9, Kaká, Neymar, if it works for those type of players, why can't we embed that into Scottish football? Maximum touches of the ball, technical development of the players. That is where Scottish football, in my opinion, is letting itself down in the winter months. During the winter months, we struggle for pitches. As we've previously spoke about, we struggle for pitches, we struggle for availability. It could be -4 and you're expecting kids to turn up, be motivated, get touches of the ball when the pitches are not maintained by the councils. It genuinely becomes a health and safety risk for kids breaking ankles, breaking legs, sliding, catching the flu, all of that. And then we look back as coaches and think, why can't we produce these top level players? And it comes down to facilities, and the political will for the nation to improve. Even from a parent standpoint, if you've got parents going out, speaking to other parents 2-3 times a week, their social aspects increasing. People are not locked up in the house. The kids are out, they're playing football. The other kids are out, they're all running about. It's so beneficial to the family structure of as much sport as we can humanly get into the kids as possible. And that's where we were at with it. That's why we do the futsal. Now, this isn't a big sales pitch and forward play. I'm just a coach who started a futsal club in Ayrshire, and I want to grow. However, I want other clubs to get involved with futsal. Why can we not have a winter league? A winter futsal league where we're playing a Friday night? Are we playing a Saturday night? Are we playing a Sunday? Why can we not do that as opposed to having the kids running around and it's raining, it's pouring down, it's windy, it's kick and rush football, but the kids are not enjoying it. They're running around in their jackets and like that. And if we take those 4 months and then multiply that over 10 years, there's 40 months worth of football in the winter, which is horrendous. You know what it's like in Scotland. It's dark when you wake up, it's dark when you get in for your work. It's not the best to play football in those times. So Scottish football needs to do something to change that. And this is what this podcast is all about. If you're a coach, if you're a committee member, if you're in an amateur team, a junior team, if you're an analyst, a scout, a pro youth coach, get your questions in. What can be done to improve Scottish football? And let's get the ball rolling on this podcast. From everyone at Forward Play Futsal, thank you for your time. And let's get the wheels in motion to improving Scottish football. Thanks again. Bye, guys.